Welcome into another episode of a Colorado Craft Podcast by Mile High Bourbon and Rye. My name is Zach. I am the host of the show, and today I am talking to you guys from the Local Drive down on Brighton Street in Denver, and I have Jay from ParHopper Golf here to talk with me as well. So, looking forward to this conversation. Jay, thank you so much for joining me on this episode.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I'm excited, first time doing something like this. So.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Can't wait to do this. So, if you guys are new to the show, you've never listened or watched before, Colorado Craft Podcast is exactly what it sounds like. We are focused on Colorado craft. It typically revolves around whiskey, bourbon, beers, spirits, things of that nature. But I also really like talking to people that are doing other stuff in Colorado as well. Great thing about Jay and ParHopper Golf is we get to blend those two together very, very well, actually. So I'm wearing the ParHopper shirt. Jay's wearing one as well. He's got his Lost 9 shirt from Old Elk. These bottles sitting in front of us. I've got just their Old Elk, looks like the cigar cut shirt.
Yeah, that's just their standard kind of branded out polo, yeah.
Which is awesome. And so Jay works a lot with local distilleries. We've got, Molly Brown, Old Elk.
Molly Brown, Old Elk, Branch and Barrel, 477, Copper Sky. Lots of breweries too, but yeah, I think that's maybe it for all of the distilleries.
That's absolutely awesome. So we'll get into this. We'll talk a bit about that. Before we start, just want to say this is presented by Centennial Cuts, based out of South Denver. We'll get to them, tell you more about them here in a little bit. But Jay, to start us off, tell us how'd you get started making polos for golf?
So I guess I should just kind of start with how we came up with ParHopper in general. I mean, we were bar hopping one day, surprisingly, and this was actually back during COVID 2020, so we're a 2020 business. We're bar hopping, me, my now business partner, and my dad actually was with us. We've been bouncing around all day from different places and trying to think of a name. Nothing was really sticking, and out of nowhere, my dad's like, well, we've been bar hopping all day, and you want it to be a golf brand, so why don't we play off of that, par and golf, so ParHopper. And we're like, okay, that's a solid name. And from there, we're like, okay, what's going to be the image of the brand? And we're all, we wanted to be the brand for people who love beer, who love whiskey, so Drunk Bunny Rabbit. And so that's why, he's got, are we allowed to cuss on here? I got to make sure I know it now.
I can tag it. Yeah, no, you're
okay.
Good. You're good. Yep.
So, I always say that's why he has a fucked up eye and a fucked up ear, because he's drunk.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of like how the whole brand came about, the name and everything, and the image. And we actually started doing just hats, t-shirts, things like that. But I come from a design background and have always wanted to do custom golf polos because I've been golfing my entire life. And so we started doing the polos probably about 8 months in. So that was almost 2021 when we started actually selling polos.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that's a pretty cool story. Obviously, the Drunk Rabbit's great. You've got the cool designs on here. So I mean, you say you come from a design background. How do you the dinosaurs and everything? Obviously, Lost 9, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But where I guess what's kind of the inspiration behind doing stuff like this? Because this is, I love these shirts, I love the polos, I love the hats. How do you get there?
Well, I mean, really what it is for me, man, is they're conversation pieces. I wanted polos that people would wear, at the golf course for one, but just anywhere, bars, downtown, restaurants. And I want people to see these polos and say, hey, that's a fun polo, tell me about it. So, we don't ever just put designs on the polo. They all have a concept, they all have a story behind them. And so, when we do these collabs with other brands, we're getting to tell their story through our product. And I think that's what is really special about them because, we're a walking billboard for, all these other cool brands that we get to work with. So for me, it's the conversation piece of it, starting conversation, meeting new people. And, our slogan is, golf polos that turn heads on the tee box. So, we want people to look twice at our polos and be like, damn, that's a funky polo.
Yeah. That's awesome. If you all heard the nice little smack there, we are recording just live inside. So Local Drive, we'll talk a bit because you guys work with them, obviously, since we're posting up down here.
They're our biggest partner that we've had to date, so we do a lot with these guys.
We're standing in front of an erupting volcano, but not too concerned about actually getting burned at the moment. It's a whole golf course that you guys have based off of your Lost 9 brand here. So folks can come down here, get some of this delicious whiskey that you guys picked, and this single barrel we'll talk about in a minute because you picked it in collaboration with the Local Drive, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Awesome. So come down here, you can get a pour of that whiskey, and then stand, in front of this screen and smack golf balls into it and basically practice your game. Doesn't matter what the weather is outside, because today, as we're recording this, it's touching, 100 plus degrees. And
yeah, so it's perfect indoor golf. They have 5 custom golf bays in here. And they're a big part of why we meet all of these distilleries and breweries, man, because the Local Drive, it's in their name. So they offer a ton of local spirits, local beers. They really try to vibe with all of these different brands in Colorado. And we meet a lot of our partners through the Local Drive. So they're a huge part of our business.
I mean, that's fantastic because, like I said at the top of the show, and again, if you're new, the whole point of what I try to do is keep it as Colorado focused as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. So, like, being able to talk to you guys is just... it's a perfect kind of match, right? This is great. So come down here. You guys can play. Is this a par 3? Is this how is this course?
Yeah, so I mean, we actually kind of got lucky that this course was on here. So this is a made-up course that Trackman created, and it all kind of came about when we picked our single barrel whiskey. Which, if you want to dive into that now, we can. But this course was kind of chosen based off of the whiskey that we did and the polo that we did to match it, and it all just kind of lined up together.
Okay, so the Lost 9 course was one that was already in existence here when you guys made the pick.
Yeah, it's a made-up course that Trackman offers, but yeah, it's a par 3 course, 9 holes.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Then, let's go ahead and start off with the whiskey. So we've got 2 bottles here in front of us. It's the same bottle, but we wanted to be able to let you see Old Elk, their logo right here on the front, because they're absolutely awesome. You also have the...
Show the camera.
Yeah. And you've got the little rabbit logo here on the front. Now, this looks like a ball marker, right?
Yeah, man, we want to take it one step further and really offer an experience when you have these bottles. So I actually hand wax our ball markers onto the bottle. So when you buy a bottle of the whiskey, you get a keepsake ball marker to play with afterwards. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then obviously the other label here, you've got all the dinosaurs.
We gotta have the tater label on there.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah, because everybody needs. You got to have something that stands out apart from what the regular is, for sure.
And that that matches the polo that I'm wearing. So we knew. So kind of the whole reason we named it the Lost 9. So this is actually Old Elk's first ever 9-year single barrel. We're the first ones to have it. Awesome. So we wanted to kind of play off of that, where it's like, this is prehistoric whiskey, like it's so old that maybe the dinosaurs drank it. And so that's kind of why we went with the dinosaur pattern and named it the Lost 9.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's a great combination. And I mean, obviously, so we've spoken a little bit before about that, but talking to people, who might not know, a 9-year whiskey out of Old Elk is like you said, that's the oldest that they've done to date.
So they have a 10-year that they put out themselves. But as far as selecting their single barrels, we're the first to do the 9-year.
To do a 9-year.
And we tasted, I want to say, like 8 to 10 different barrels, and that was the barrel pick that we went with.
So you've told me a bit of this story, but walk me through kind of your process of this barrel pick here, because I thought it was an awesome story, and I'd love to share it with everybody who watches this or listens to the show.
That's actually, my dad just walked in. So.
Oh, nice.
My dad, my business partner, like 4 or 5 of our ambassadors, Winston, the owner of Local Drive here, a couple of his team members, we all went to Fort Collins, went to Old Elk Distillery, and they were like, okay, we got all these barrels lined out for you. We're going to try, our weeded bourbon, just their standard bourbon. We tried some rye. So we tried a variety of different things. I want to say 10 to 12 different barrels total. And, we went through the full lineup. Everyone kind of made notes about, what they were tasting, what they liked about it, noted the proof of each one. So, some of them were hotter, some of them were closer to 90.
Yep.
And ultimately it came down to, we couldn't decide because we didn't want to do the weeded. Like, we wanted to offer, especially this being our first pick, we wanted a whiskey that not just your whiskey heads were going to enjoy, that someone getting into whiskey could also enjoy. So we didn't want something too hot.
Yeah.
So, like, we were looking at stuff that was like 120, 125 proof. And we're like, damn, that's probably a little too hot to start out with.
Too much to get people into it. Yep.
We picked our top 3, and we put all 3 of, or actually we picked our top 2. And my dad, he was with us, and he was like, hey, I know you got your top 2 pick, but I think this is a really good barrel. Can we just put it in there for shits and giggles? And so we put it in there. We got 3 different whiskeys to taste. All 10 of us blind taste all 3. and 90% of the group picked the barrel that my dad picked out. So we went with the one that he just threw in there at the end.
Wasn't even an original finalist, and somehow
it was
still
not a finalist.
Came back and
again, I think it's because it is so drinkable. It has some heat, but it also, like, you get that barrel 9-year flavor out of it, so you can taste the age in it. And it's the guys who are big whiskey heads who like the more barrel-proof stuff. It's got some heat for you, so it's it's hot. It's got some sweetness, got some oakiness, so just an all-around good bourbon.
Well, and one of the bigger things for me too is, like, especially when I'm drinking hotter or higher proof whiskeys, it's the ability to kind of add either an ice cube or a couple of drops of water, right? You find wherever your perfect sweet spot is. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, everybody's palate's going to be a little bit different. So when you get a barrel proof or a higher proof whiskey, you can kind of pare it down and get it to where you're happiest with. And I think that's one of the more fun things to do. And when you can find something that tastes this good at that high proof and people are able to still kind of cut it down to something that they might find a little bit better, I mean, it's a great balance. And I think
what made it even more special, so it was a 9-year bourbon. We wanted to name it the Lost 9 because it was 9 years old. And it ended up being 109.9 proof. So just all around, the perfect pick for us.
And I mean, that ends up working excellent into the golf idea, like everything just kind of worked out beautifully for that.
And we're actually, so now that we've got this bottle finished, we took our empty barrel to our friends over at Launchpad Brewery in Aurora, and they're finishing a peach ale inside of that barrel. And they put the peach ale in at 9%. So again, another 9.
So you just added more 9s to it. So many layers of that. That's awesome.
So, I mean, this to date, man, I mean, we've done a lot of cool stuff, but just the whole having our own bourbon, tying it in with the Polos, and then taking it even further. Now we're making a beer with it. Like, this has been definitely my favorite project so far.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm really excited to try this peach ale because barrel-aged beers are, typically I feel like you get stouts, you get the darker beers and everything that end up hitting the barrels. But when you get something like a peach ale, that can add just a cool kind of layer to it. It's a little bit different than what everybody expects. Yeah. So have you had a chance to try this yet, or where are you at in this process?
So I'm the same way. So I didn't want to put a dark beer in there because I'm not a huge beer guy in general. Okay. I'm a whiskey guy. I love bourbon. I don't really love a whole ton of beer, but the whole concept, we want to do a lighter beer, and we picked the peach because we're trying to go for like a kind of peach bourbon smash kind of flavor.
Okay, excellent.
So to answer the question though, yes, like 2 weeks ago I went by Launchpad. They were nice enough to drill a hole in the barrel for me. We got it poured directly out of there, and man, it's only been in there for I think a month and a half, and it already has pulled so much of that barrel flavor out of there. And they say that the proof is actually going to go up a little bit while it's in the barrel, so we're hoping that 9's going to jump to another 9.9 to match our bottle.
Oh man, if you can make that happen, that'd be perfect.
They say as long as they get it within 2%, they can advertise it that way. So if it gets to 9.7, we can call it 9.9 if we want to. Okay. So, but yes, I tasted it. It's delicious. They actually have the peach ale is on tap right now at Launchpad. Okay. And we took the one that's on tap, and it's in our barrel right now. So once that's finished, I think we're going to pull it probably mid-July. Okay. Go ahead and can it. And then we actually have our 4-year anniversary for ParHopper coming up in August. So we're going to launch a brand new Polo for that beer, like in a collab, and we're going to launch the beer at the anniversary party, which you will definitely have an invitation to. So we'll all get to taste that beer together. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and it'll be for sale. So Local Drive will be selling the beer. Launchpad will have it on draft. You'll be able to buy it by the can. So gonna have another full release.
So basically, keep your eyes out for that because that's going to be fantastic. And before that happens, come down to Local Drive and try this barrel pick here. So
yeah, we have a ton of bottles of this. So these are up for grabs. And we haven't really advertised it a whole lot just because it's a newer product for us, and we've just had a lot going on. So yeah, we're going to start pushing it a lot harder. But yeah, these bottles are up for grabs. You can come in and grab as many as you want.
Awesome. So swing by the Local Drive to get yourself one of the better Old Elks. So, and I don't know how much you've necessarily seen, but I've been doing this for a little bit, and just golf kind of ties in with hockey a decent amount. A lot of hockey players play a lot of golf. So Locked On Avalanche podcast had actually done an episode. I was able to join them on one. And one of the things they asked me was, basically pair individual players with whiskeys from out Colorado.
Oh, nice.
So one of the ones that they asked me to do was Nathan McKinnon, and the Old Elk Weeded was my pairing with Nathan McKinnon.
Nice.
And so big reason for that was a lot of people, like, I think Old Elk is a phenomenal product, and their weeded bourbon specifically, a lot of whiskey people think weeded bourbon, they're thinking, like Weller, and that's kind of the idea that they have behind it. But I'd actually put especially the full proof weeded up against a Weller really any day of the week. And in the hockey world, Nathan McKinnon's considered really, really good, but Connor McDavid's almost always, he's got more MVPs, although Mac should win one this year. And so that was the pairing for that one. So Old Elk's always been one that's really on the top of my list. I've really liked their products for a long time.
Great product, man, and I don't know if you've had the chance to taste the 10-year that they did put out, but man, it is something else. I mean, and this is really, really close to it, and I think this is potentially better because it is so special. It's a single barrel, so you can't get it anywhere else. We're the only ones that have it.
Yep.
So, and before we get too far off the topic, let's taste a little bit of it. See what
absolutely.
you think about it.
I've taken a couple sips, but we'll do it.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers.
And again, this is 109.9 proof, so it has some heat, but
it doesn't drink like it.
Not at all.
It's very, very approachable. It's sweet up front. It's got a lot of that barrel influence. Like you said, because it's been so long in there, you get a lot of those vanilla, the caramel kind of notes on the back end of it, but it is...
And for anyone that's curious, the mash bill on this one was 34% malted barley, 51% corn with 15% rye.
Okay.
So that's the mash bill on this one.
Awesome. So you're, hitting the minimum amount to make sure that it's still a bourbon, but...
Yep.
Yeah, the barley actually... Because there was a little bit of sort of a, roasty, chocolatey note in there as well. So that would be that barley, I would say.
And I'm actually sipping it in an old-fashioned as well, and man, I tell you, it makes a great old-fashioned.
Yeah, I can imagine it would.
I know that's kind of, a degenerate thing to take really good whiskey like this and mix it into a cocktail, but it's my whiskey. I can do what I want.
Right, for sure. So that's actually one thing, and I'd love to kind of touch on that too, because this actually started. I started this website a while ago, and I've told this story, I think, even on the show before, but we went and did a relatively big brewery tour. I'm not going to call out specific names because I don't want to badmouth any of them, but while we're on the tour, we're, going through, and tour guide is giving us samples of a couple of beers, and we get to taste it, and tour guide says, okay, I want anybody to tell me, what are you guys tasting? What flavors do you get? And everybody's sort of being kind of tentative, whatever. And one guy finally raises his hand. It wasn't me, but one guy finally raises his hand, and it's like, I get, and I don't remember what he said, but let's just go with, banana. Because it's just, it was kind of an out there thing, but hey, if that's what he tastes, that's what he tastes, right?
Right.
Tour guide goes, no, you're wrong. And then just goes on and says exactly what it is.
Yeah, who are you to tell me what notes I'm tasting?
Right, exactly. And that was kind of one of the initial inspirations. And then as I was talking to other people, there's a lot of people that are like, okay, there's only specific whiskeys that you can mix, and there's only specific whiskeys that you can drink neat. And quite frankly, I think the most beautiful thing about whiskey is you drink it however you want to drink it. That's the best part of it. So,
have you seen the Neat documentary on Hulu?
I haven't watched it yet.
Man, so it made me love whiskey even more. But anyone out there who hasn't seen it, they got to check it out. But that's one of the big things they talk about on there. It's like, there's not a right or wrong way to drink whiskey. It's however it tastes the best to you. So if you want to drown it in a Coca-Cola, go for it. If you want to cube in it, you like it neat.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think you've got to find what works the best for you, and then you've just got to enjoy it. And so I imagine this would actually make an excellent old-fashioned, too. This
it does, yeah.
Tastes like it goes perfectly with it. And, yeah, it's very...
Because it gives you a barrel-aged old-fashioned, flavor to it, so...
Yeah. No, it absolutely does. This is a phenomenal pick, so...
Yeah, I'm glad you like it, man.
Cheers to your father, too, for getting this particular barrel back into
I know, it's so funny.
The rotation.
Oh, he'll never let us live that down. Everyone we talk to, he's like, I picked that barrel.
This was my doing. You guys
he did.
like that?
No, we weren't even going to include it in the blinder, and then he asked to throw it in there, and every one of us picked it. So
that's amazing.
Thankful he did that. I mean, honestly, none of them would have been a bad pick. They were all delicious barrels, but this one was definitely special. So
no, this tastes phenomenal. And like you said, the fact that it worked out that when you tasted it, you're at the 109.9 proof, all of that kind of lines up perfectly. So
Yeah.
I gotta say, your father has a right to never let you live that one down. So he was very correct in that one.
Yeah, we still owe him a corner office with a window too. That was what we agreed to when he came up with the name ParHopper. So
Ooh, all right.
one day down the road, we still owe him an office as well. So
I'm pulling for you to get that office set up for him. Pulling for him mostly for that, honestly.
So that's actually another fun thing that we're working on right now. Local Drive, so they're actually working on their third location right now.
Okay.
At Stanley Marketplace. I don't know if you've ever been there in Aurora.
I haven't.
So it's like an old airport, and they're actually building their third location in the old hangar where they used to keep the planes. So this is like a 25,000 square foot building, and we're hoping by December we're gonna have an actual ParHopper Pro Shop open there. So we'll have an actual storefront.
Okay. I gotta ask, because I'm a big plane guy, pilot's license, all the stuff. You gonna keep kind of the hangar charm to it, or are you gonna make it just totally different?
Well, I've seen some renderings, and it's not on me to say because it's not my project, but I think it's definitely still gonna have an airplane vibe in there. There's gonna be some really cool features. So.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that then. That's gonna be awesome.
And we should actually start posting some of that stuff on the Local Drive's social media soon. So
okay.
A lot of those questions will be answered very soon, but I don't think I can actually spill those secrets yet.
Yeah,
so.
okay, yeah. We'll keep that one under wraps for now. But yeah, when you say old hangar, man, like I grew up, my father was a flight instructor for a long time, so I grew up flying planes, being around them a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be epic, man.
First, self-employed job I had, quote unquote, but as he was doing a flight school, I just put up flyers for everybody around the airport, like, I'll wash your airplane, let me know, and I'll go out and spend hours washing it. And if you're familiar with planes at all, I had a guy come up and tell me, he's like, I've got a Cessna 180 or 185, I don't remember what it was, but he's like, you wash this one and that thing took me all day, man. That was a big plane. I was thinking like 150 like my dad owned, but that thing was huge. So
yeah, no, that's awesome.
I've got a soft spot always for airplanes.
Oh, so you're going to love that place, man. And I think they're going to have 12 bays inside.
Nice.
One of them is going to be a private bay that you can rent for, bachelor parties, things like that. So it's going to be a very special place.
Well, and the bay we're sitting in here down on Brighton Street in Denver, this one's got a very already kind of private feel to it. Obviously, we've got one next to us, and then there's 3 more kind of around the corner, but it's already a very very nice feeling in here. This is a very cool place to hang out.
Yeah, man. They really put some effort into it, and obviously they're not the first golf lounge to open in Denver, especially, but I think what makes this place special is, they really focus on the cocktail side, and again, they're the Local Drive, so they really focus on local spirits, local beers. Their cocktail program is phenomenal, so they actually prefer to be known as the cocktail bar that also has golf.
Okay.
So, I think they do a really good job of making, a reputation for themselves by how great their drinks are. And they have some really awesome golf features.
Yeah. I think this place is awesome. I've been in it once before today, and now down here today. And just watching it too, and just to kind of talk about them a little bit. So we've got the TrackMan back here that's projecting. We've got the big projector up above us, camera that comes down over the green area. I'm not even sure.
The hitting pad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then the screen. Image-wise, this looks great.
You can see the wind blowing here, blowing the grass. The water's moving.
There's so much detail.
You mentioned earlier, it's 100 degrees outside right now, so this is nice and air conditioned. And another great thing about being here is you don't have to wait for the cart girl, so you can just go order a drink anytime you want.
Right, you just walk right up over to the bar. Well, and today and the last time I was here, bartender's been walking around and checking on everybody too. So you can walk right up if it's not been, if you go through your drink a little too quick, or give it just another minute, and you're probably going to have some service right to you, because the cart girl's everybody's favorite, but she does take a while to get around.
Yeah, no, they stay on it, man. They do a great job here, and really proud to be partnered with these guys.
No, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So, do have obviously a few more things that I want to talk about, but before we go any further, I do want to go ahead and give that shout out to our sponsor for the show. So, the Colorado Craft Podcast is now presented by Centennial Cuts. Centennial Cuts is Colorado-grown beef, and my goodness, let me tell you. So,
I need a beef store, actually. So.
Oh, man. So you got to check them out. They've got a couple of locations. One in Lakewood, Belmar. They've got one in Colorado Springs if you're down that way, but they also ship directly to your door.
Oh, nice.
It's all grown in Colorado, and all of their beef is finished on distillers and brewers grains. So obviously you go through a ton of grain to make delicious whiskeys like this.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of Colorado distilleries, a lot of Colorado breweries, they send that spent grain out to farms. So when the cows are getting close to the time where it's time to, send them out for processing, they're finished on those grains. They get to eat all of that. They get delicious food to munch on for a bit. Finishes them up, gives them a beautiful marbling. For Father's Day just a couple weeks ago, we got 3 or 4 steaks, 4 or 5, I don't know, but we chopped them up into like kind of smaller pieces, so everybody could come take like a couple pieces of each cut of steak. So we had top sirloin, we had
I
cube
love that
steak.
when you just cook a lot of steak and then you're like, okay, everyone just get whatever you want of each steak.
Try each
that.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Family style.
And so, my gosh, man, they're absolutely phenomenal. And their ground beef is best ground beef I've had. It's not crazy, like it's very lean, but it's super flavorful. It holds its shape very well. We made hamburgers with it right after, actually right before these guys sponsored me, and best hamburger I ever had. Like,
that's awesome.
Absolutely phenomenal. Cooked up beautifully, held its shape. It's terrific. So check out Centennial Cuts. 4th of July is coming up. I think this episode will probably air right before, so you might be a little close to your time, but you can zip down to Belmar and pick up a couple of steaks, some ground beef, get yourself ready. They have all beef hot dogs. They have beef jerky. They've got all sorts of stuff that you can purchase to make sure your barbecue is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And the tri-tip, man, I didn't buy one, but I'm going back down to buy one because the marbling through it, the pieces on it, I'm going to throw that on my smoker and just let that go slow all day. I can't wait. That's going to be a phenomenal cut of meat. So check out Centennial Cuts. Go to centennialcuts.com. Use code MHBR, Mile High Bourbon and Rye, for 10% off your first order online. Have it shipped directly to your door. They have bundles. They have individual steaks. You can get all sorts of stuff. And like I said, have it shipped directly to your door.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I use that code when I get home.
Oh, yeah, definitely do, because it's great meat. Nobody's going to regret it for doing that, for sure. So Centennial Cuts, thank you again to them for sponsoring us. Super thrilled to have them on board. And yeah, so let's jump back in. Obviously, we've talked a lot about your partnership with Old Elk, but let's talk about like a couple of the other ones that you partner with. So my wife and I were up at Molly Brown. As we're recording this, it was last weekend. So obviously you partner with those guys. How do you end up, like, what goes into your partnership there? How do you guys end up saying, like, let's make a polo,
Yeah. Well, again, man, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, where it's the storytelling. So we are huge whiskey guys. That's what we created the brand for. Like, we're not trying to be your old country club brand. Like, we're the guys who, we're on the golf course. We enjoy a nice pour of whiskey or an ice cold beer. So, we're there to have a good time. And if we play good golf, that's great too. And so, that's why we vibe so well with all of these distilleries. And again, we meet a lot of them through the local drive or at events, things like that. And it's always a pretty easy conversation. I mean, Molly Brown specifically. So Steve, he's one of the owners there. We were texting back and forth. I was like, hey man, I'd love to talk with you guys about a potential polo collab. Could you meet me at the local drive? We'll drink some Molly Brown and we'll chat about it. So we get here, we chat for like 5 minutes, and he's like, well, this is one of the easiest conversations I've ever had. Like, this is a no-brainer because again, we offer free design. First of all, like, we don't charge for design, we don't charge for shipping. So when we work with these brands, we're like, hey, we want to pick your brain. How can we tell your story or really showcase your brand on our product? Yeah. So it's offering them a custom product they can't get anywhere else. Like, yeah, you can go buy a polo somewhere, but you're never going to have a polo like this one. It's a very specific material, very specific fit. So when we take that, and especially when they try one on, they're like, wow, it feels different than anything else I've worn. And so we're like, hey, this is your real estate, blank canvas. You tell us what you want, what story you want us to tell. So, a lot of times it might be, just a branded polo like the one you're wearing, or the Molly Brown one specifically. So that was actually our first button down ever. Yeah. So that one was special already because it was a button down, but we'd actually just released a Mai Tai cocktail here at Local Drive that featured their
spice bourbon.
Yeah, the spice bourbon in the Mai Tai.
Oh
man, so it was so good. I'm like, we should take this cocktail concept and turn that into a polo design. So you saw the polo, so it's very like jungle themed and has their bottle hidden in there. And
I own the polo. My wife had to buy me one when we went up there last weekend. We're sitting there looking at it, and she's like, that polo or that shirt. I thought it was a polo hanging on the wall, but then they brought it down and saw it was the full button down deal. But she's like, you need to get that. You have to get that shirt. It's like, all right, I do really like that shirt. Ooh.
So, and that, and what's cool too is like at that point, they weren't just working with us. Then they're working with Local Drive as well. That turned into a 3-way collab. So that wasn't just ParHopper, Molly Brown. It was also Local Drive. And, we kept that cocktail on the menu for, I think, a full quarter, so like 3 or 4 months. And
man, okay.
Yeah, and so that, that particular polo was just kind of highlighting that featured cocktail that we had with them.
That's awesome. Let's see, I can't think off the top of my head. What other distilleries do you guys work with through the state?
So a lot of our really good friends that like we either continually hang out with or we've done polos with. We love the guys over at Copper Sky.
Oh yeah, great place.
Those are great friends of ours. Love the guys over at Branch and Barrel. Super great guys over there.
Okay, not to interrupt, but did you try their pea whiskey?
I tried everything on their spirit menu. So I actually, in my off time, I do a lot of photography. So I shoot a lot of their social media content.
Okay.
And so I've tasted every spirit they have, even the
awesome.
Unreleased ones. So I've actually been sampling some of their older barrels, and we're hoping we might be doing a single barrel pick with those guys. So, that's in the works. But yeah, the peas, have you tasted the new peppercorn peas?
I haven't tried that one yet.
So they kind of did the same thing where they finished it with, like field peas.
Yep.
But this has the peppercorn in it, so it's spicy. And when I say spicy, like it is hot, but it's funky and it's fun.
Oh,
and
exciting.
that's what those guys are known for. Like they just do a lot of fun bourbon.
So down at there, I've seen them advertise this online a lot, but at the distillery, you can go down and roll your old fashioned with the dice to choose what it is that you're going to get in it. I've got to go down and try that because what a better way to just find some new flavors that you may or may not love.
What's hilarious is I was in there like a week ago, and I was just chilling there, and someone was doing the roll your old fashioned.
Yeah. And
they rolled so like when you roll it, each dice counts as something different. So you get your spirit, whatever bitters are used, your garnish, things like that. And the first roll, their spirit was the peppercorn peas.
Oh, was it?
So
right.
It was a very spicy old fashioned.
That actually would be a really fun old fashioned.
Yeah.
You think like that's typically a pretty sweet cocktail. But you add in that spice layer to it. Mm-hmm. That'd be really good.
Yeah, I can't remember what garnishes and bitters they ended up using, but I mean, I know when the guy got it and he tasted it, like he was thoroughly happy with it. And that's the thing is they don't make bad cocktails there. So even if you roll the craziest combinations, they'll make it work. And you get one re-roll. So if you want to re-roll any ingredient, counting the spirit, you can re-roll once.
Okay. That seems fair. Because if there's one thing that you're like, man, that's not a flavor I can deal with, then trade that one out. All right.
I would like to highlight the polo we did with them just because I think it was one of the more unique ones. And it was, it was based off of a cocktail that we created here at the Local Drive.
Nice.
But fun story about this one is actually, I want to say, it was either a year or two ago, but it was for one of our anniversary parties. And I was working with the mixologist here to create a cocktail for our party. Okay. And so we wanted to do something, it was summertime, in August, so we wanted to do something refreshing, but put a new twist on something. So we went with, we called it an Arnaldo Palmer. So it was like your classic Arnold Palmer, but we used Branch and Barrel's honey whiskey in it, and then we used like a spicy liqueur. So it was, really refreshing, had that summertime taste, and then you get like a hit of like chili peppers. So we actually took that cocktail, deconstructed it, and we made a polo with Branch and Barrel based off of that cocktail. So it had I did like a caricature of Arnold Palmer on there, and so he had a mustache. Yep. Because it was Arnaldo Palmer.
Yep. Perfect.
So, I think that's been one of our probably most creative and just fun polos, and it really highlights those guys because they're a goofy group of guys. They love to have fun. They do just a lot of funny things on camera, and so to me that was one of the most perfect polo collabs we've done that really highlighted and told their story.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and those guys are great. So last time I went down there was, it's been a minute, just being down in the Parker area, and I'm north Denver, so a little...
I'm in Centennial, so it's 10 minutes from my house to go.
So you get to hang out there all the time.
Yep. I'm there probably once or twice a week.
Oh, that's awesome. The nice thing is being in North Denver, Molly Brown's real close to me, so we can swing in there. Mm-hmm. And I think I was telling you this earlier, but my wife's favorite drink of all time. Absolute all-time favorite drink.
Ever.
Yeah, I mean, period. I tried to make it at home for her one time, and she's like, nope.
That never goes as planned, man. Nope. I try to make cocktails at home all the time, and they don't get the love that a bartender puts in them.
No, they don't. And I feel like I'm doing it, but I just am not. But.
So what was the cocktail that she likes?
It's called the Ella Brennan, and it's basically a bananas Foster. So.
Oh, I've actually had that one, yeah.
Yep.
Where they, like, toast the banana.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they sit there with the big blowtorch on the spoon.
That's how I met Steve with Molly Brown. We were at a, like, not to cut your story off.
No.
But we were at a mixologist, like, competition, and I was there with the Local Drive. Go figure.
Yep.
And Steve was there making that was the drink they entered, and of course it ended up winning because there was not anything there that could compete with that. So.
No, that thing is absurdly good.
Yeah. So I actually met Molly Brown because of that cocktail.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. No, that drink is absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, being close to Branch and Barrel, so you can swing in there whenever. I've got the Molly Brown kind of close to me, so it's nice having those kind of right there.
Oh man, like these are this like whole like industry, like the network that we've created and just the friends that we've made.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got so many places you can go hang out now, and you just have so many different friend groups that you can chill and enjoy really good whiskey with.
Yeah. Well, and the state of Colorado makes so much good whiskey. And as you guys continue to grow and partner with, I'm sure, more and more.
We've still got some on our target list.
Yeah.
There's definitely plenty that we haven't worked with. I have a list in my head of people I want to go after, and we're in the works with some people. Like I'm in conversations with some places. We just released our second polo with Suerte. So not whiskey, but they're another local, like I think they're based out of Boulder, but they do tequila.
Import, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So we just did our second round of polos with those guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Tequila's kind of that's obviously a hugely popular drink for sure. Mm-hmm. Almost everybody loves tequila. Some people really don't, but
I am one of the people who do not like tequila.
Oh, really? All right, fair.
Man, I can smell tequila and get chills.
Fair. I get that way with
Jose Cuervo ruined me in college, so now if I smell tequila, I get chills.
Man, that's Jaeger for me. It's the exact same thing. Is a college. Everything happened in college, and now Jaeger's not a thing I can touch.
See, that's what's weird is, like, I absolutely hate licorice, but I love Jaeger.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. I can do Jaeger shots. It won't even faze me, but I can't chew on a piece of licorice candy.
See, I can't do either. I don't like licorice as a candy. I don't like it as a drink. I don't like any of that flavor.
Yeah.
But awesome, man. Well, let's talk a little bit golf, too, because, I mean, so... I am not a great golfer. I love to go out. I love to play. I've never...
I mean, I think that's 90% of golfers. They just love the game. They're not actually good at it.
Right. Yeah, I am absolutely terrible at it. I did get a hole-in-one one time on a mini golf course.
Okay.
And I was
about to say, if you've had a hole-in-one, like, I've been playing golf for, like, probably almost 18, 20 years, and I've had 2 hole-in-ones here at the Local Drive on the simulator, but never one in real life.
Not in real life?
Not in real life.
No, and I remember we were at the mini golf course that's in Westminster, the Highland Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And so took my wife and my daughter, we went out, we were playing that one, and I got the hole-in-one. And I'm instantly just like, yeah, I got a hole-in-one. My wife's like, oh, you got to take a picture. So I brought my daughter, and you could see she's got the eye roll all the way in the back of her head, just like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yep. This is it. That's
awesome.
But that's the only time. But I love.
So you're playing mini golf, or was it a par 3 course?
No, this was mini golf.
A mini golf, okay.
I went out and played a couple of par 3s. I always have a great time. It's a blast to do. I'm just not very good at it.
Do you want another drink or anything?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's.
I can just tell them real quick, and they'll just make it while we're still chatting.
Yeah, let's do that. So we'll take a real quick second here. Actually, you know what? I'll use this time to shout out my family's business, and then I'll continue that story as soon as you're back.
What do you want?
Can I do the old-fashioned with the
Absolutely.
Lost Nine?
Good
Fantastic.
choice.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that. So while Jay is grabbing that, I am going to just tell you guys to go check out Kickin Ass Mountain Pizza up in Fairplay. They are reopening here pretty soon. Pizza is going to be a couple minutes later. We're still working on getting all of that set back up. But you can go up there. You can hang out at Snitching Lady Distillery. You can have yourself a couple of drinks there. They'll bring the food right into you. It is some of the best food that you will ever have. I like to fancy myself a little bit of a cook. I think that I make some pretty tasty food. but I learned everything that I learned from my family, which is this business, and let me tell you, you're never going to have food that you will not enjoy at this place. So be sure to check out Kickin Ass Mountain Pizza up in Fairplay. Reopening's coming soon. I will post all the information about that as soon as it's ready, and be sure to, like I said, be sure to check them out. And since you were kind of stepped away, Kickin Ass Mountain Pizza is the name of the place. Some of the best pizza you'll have. Big wood-fired oven. It's on a trailer.
Is their pizza kicking ass?
Oh, it absolutely kicks ass. Yep. Oh, it's phenomenal. So, a couple of issues have kind of had them put it on hiatus for a little bit, but they're rolling back into being able to reopen. So, as soon as that's
located?
Open, up in Fairplay.
Okay.
They've got a spot behind the Snitching Lady Distillery.
Okay.
So if you head up there, you know where that's at. They're literally right behind that. And
very cool.
Hopefully reopening soon. Like I said, watch for announcements on that coming back. So yeah, check out Kickin Ass Mountain Pizza.
They're kick ass.
They are kick ass. But back to what I was saying earlier, like I'm not a great player, but it's phenomenal to play, right? Golf is just an excellent sport. It's just fun to go do.
It's a very frustrating sport.
Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. But you walk into it and understanding what you can or can't do makes the whole day better. A couple of your favorite courses in Colorado.
I mean, my number one, without hesitation, is Bear Dance. I absolutely love Bear Dance over, it's right past Castle Rock.
Okay.
But it's like an actual like players course. It's a little on the pricey side, but man, it is. And it's actually one of the courses on here, so if you can't afford to play it in real life, you can come down here and play $45 an hour and play it right here on the TrackMan.
Check it out
so
here.
I think that's what was so cool is I played it. We actually did a league, and Bear Dance is one of the featured courses. So I played that course probably 10 or 15 times on here, and then I go see it in real life, and man, it's like I had course knowledge because I played it on the TrackMan so much. Like it was that similar.
Okay, that's actually really cool because I was thinking of asking this, but I wasn't sure. These are like, I mean, obviously the course we're standing in front of is not a real course, but
yeah, this one is made up.
The ones that are actually real courses, like you're saying.
Oh, even like last week when they were doing the U.S. Open, we had a league running at the same time. So Pinehurst was the course they were playing in the Open.
Yeah,
that was one of the courses you were playing in the league here. So you were actually playing the same course that the pros were playing, while watching them on TV. So yeah, it was really cool.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's way cool. And that one's just outside of Castle Rock. You said the one that you like?
Bear Dance, yeah.
Bear Dance, yeah. Okay.
As far as Denver courses, I really love Overland.
Okay.
And fun fact, Overland is actually the oldest course west of the Mississippi, so it's actually a really old golf course.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a fun, easy track. It's like wide open, not a lot of trees. Like it's very hard to lose a ball there, so that's why I like it so much.
Hey, that's perfect for me, yeah, because, man, I remember when I was in high school still, a bunch of friends of mine and I got together. We went out and we played, it was Buffalo Run up in Brighton.
Okay.
And so, we're out playing that course. I think I lost 14, 15 balls on that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they, and for whatever reason, every time that I hit off of a drive, it curves out to the right. Every single time. I cannot get it to just go straight.
And that's the thing with golf is there's 1,000 different reasons of why it's doing that.
Yep, and I can't figure out which one it is. So
what's your favorite course probably here locally in Denver and just in the state in general?
So I think my favorite one, I haven't played too many, but there was one that I did get to play out in Aurora. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of it, but it was...
Was it like Heather Ridge or Aurora Hills?
I think Heather Ridge.
Yeah, I
right.
play Heather Ridge quite a bit. Yeah, it's really close to my house.
I mean, it was just, everything was really well maintained. It was like a lot more open land because when you go out east, you don't see quite as much of the mountains and everything like that, but you get a lot of that like very just pretty views all around.
Yeah.
And the golf course itself is just very, very pretty. I thought they did a great job just maintaining everything around it. So I thought that one was an absolutely awesome one. One that I want to play but I haven't yet is the one up in Buena Vista.
Okay.
So my father's gone and played that one. It's a par 3 course, so relatively easy, but you're also up at 10,000 feet altitude and you're surrounded by mountains, and I think that would just be...
Dude, yeah, I played one course in Keystone.
Okay.
And there was like a particular tee box where you were so elevated that when you hit your shot, the ball's in the air for like 25, 30 seconds.
Yep.
And you're just like, man, like, and in the air, like, you're like, I have no idea where this is going to land. Like, it looks like you probably just drove the green.
Yep.
And then it just comes down and it's probably like 100 yards short of the green. But it's so high in the air, it looks like you just absolutely destroyed it. But yeah, the elevated tee boxes are super cool. And me, I'm originally from Georgia, so I actually used to play golf 60 feet below sea level in Savannah. So to go from that to play an altitude golf, man, has been night and day. Like I would never want to play golf in Georgia again because just the shame and how short my clubs would be.
And being born and raised Colorado, I have a very hard time imagining what it's like being 60 feet below sea level.
It sucks. And it's very humid.
Oh yeah. I've spent a lot of time on coasts and the humidity kills me. Like I don't deal well with the heat in general, so 100-degree day out today is rough enough as it is, but when you get that and you throw the humidity in there too, no thank you.
I will say, man, today it feels like a day in Georgia. It is hot today.
Yeah, it's brutal out there.
Yeah. And luckily we're inside.
Yeah.
You know, still playing golf with AC running.
Yep, which is great. It's absolutely fantastic. Love being down here, so awesome, man. Let's see, so we've talked about...
We talked about just, like the origination of ParHopper and like kind of like the collabs we've done. I think one thing that would be fun to touch on that we're probably most known for in Denver especially is our mini golf bar crawl that we do. So,
okay, let's hear about that.
If you haven't heard of that, you definitely need to come to the next one. We just had one back in May, and it was our biggest one yet. So what we do is team up with Local Drive, go figure. Again, we do a lot of stuff with these guys. They're super cool. So we team up with Local Drive, so they are the starting point for this event. And we get 7 other locations in this neighborhood. Okay. And so we donate putting turf to each location. They build their own mini golf hole. And then we do tickets for teams of 2. So you sign up, and it's a bar crawl that has a mini golf challenge at each stop. So you play 9 holes of golf while doing a bar crawl.
Oh my gosh.
And so we just had our biggest one yet back in May, and it was 200 teams. So we had 400 people.
Holy cow.
Walk in this neighborhood. And I think the funnest part of the event is we always do custom bucket hats. Yeah. That has all the sponsors for the event. Yep. So when you sign up for the event, you get this bucket hat as part of your ticket. So you just see 400 people all in matching bucket hats walking around this neighborhood. Sweet. Oh, yeah, bring them over.
Thank you much.
Thank you, sir.
And that one's going to be yours.
Fresh drinks.
Sweet.
But yeah, so that is definitely the event that we're known for, and we've met a lot of people through. It's just a big party, man. Like, it's a good time, and we do a ton of giveaways, and we always do custom trophies for the winning team, and we have a live DJ. Nice. And it's a full day thing. It usually starts at 10 a.m., ends about 5 p.m. We're gearing up for our next one's going to be actually in Greeley. Okay. It's going to be in September, so we're going to do one with those guys over there. The next one in Rhino will be in October, and we're going to do it Halloween themed. So you and your partner will actually wear a costume while you're playing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so.
Well, and so I might have to talk my wife into that. See if we can do it. Halloween's her favorite holiday.
Well, honestly, man, we have you guys as a sponsor.
I would let's talk about that for sure.
Yeah, so we get all the locations. They're sponsors, obviously, because they are hosting the holes. But then we also take all 5 bays here at the Local Drive. Yep. And we have bay sponsors. So you might be sponsoring a bay and you're hosting closest to the pin challenge for the day or a long drive challenge. So we bring in a ton of different sponsors, and that's usually a time that we take to highlight one of our collab polo releases. So the most recent one. We released our collab with 477 Distilling out of Greeley. Yep. So we released that polo at the event.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just to highlight and show those guys some love.
Yep. That's fantastic. Well, and as I said earlier, the only time I've ever got a hole-in-one is on a mini golf course. So. Oh yeah. This is my opportunity to shine.
Oh, and so the best part about that event. So it's a two-person teams. You play, and obviously it's mini golf and it's honor system, but what we do is each location creates a drink special. Okay. And if you buy the drink special, you get a stroke off of your gameplay.
Oh, man.
And so it's like, say you get a hole-in-one, if you buy the drink special, you card a 0. So I think our winning score this year was a 7 on 9 holes.
9 holes? Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
So, again, man, the whole point is to gather, it helps the entire neighborhood. So it encourages everyone to want to buy a drink at each stop because it helps their gameplay. Yeah. And it's, it's a 6-7 hour event. So although it is 9 drinks, it's over the span of 7 hours. So it's, really not that much that you're drinking. Right.
Nobody's getting blasted off of this.
No, I will say
having a good time.
Yeah, I think the one in May was probably our right at fourth year doing it. Okay. We've never had a single person get out of hand. That's Everyone awesome. Has a great time. I mean, it's just great vibes. Again, we got the live DJ, so you just got fun music playing the whole time. I mean, it's just an all-around fun day.
Man, that sounds awesome. I'm definitely. We're gonna have to talk about partnering up for the October event because.
But I think a lot of people, like, out of everything we've done, the most people find out about ParHopper because of that event.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to our whole motto. Like, we love beer and whiskey. So that whole event is centered around beer and whiskey. That
works beautifully. So what bars or, where all did you guys have? Or at least a couple of them that you had on the one
So the last one, we had Local Drive was hole 1 and hole 9 because we like to start here and we host the after party here. But we had like Great Divide Barrel Bar across the street.
Love that place.
We had McDivitt Taco Bar up on top of Vibe Hotel. So it's actually a rooftop hole that you played. So you get to see like the whole cityscape of Denver while you're playing mini golf. We had number 38, Ironton. We had Bigsby's Folly over there, the big wine bar over here. Zeppelin Station. So basically this entire neighborhood, they were part of it,
Walk around here. Man, Ironton Distillery, you got to get a polo out with those guys too.
Yeah, no, we're good friends with them. We've done some cool stuff with them. And again, I told you we bring in sponsors for the bays too. So like we brought our buddies from like Launchpad's been here as a sponsor. We had Branch and Barrel here as a sponsor.
Nice.
Suerte.
Yep.
We did have Fireball and Patron here at the last event. So it was cool to have some bigger names in the building.
Yeah. Well, bigger names bring a little bit more recognition, even if it's not all Colorado all the time. It still really kind of helps add some of that to it. So, man, that's awesome. All right, I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah, that's a must. That one's fun, and we usually do 2 or 3 a year, and so we're hoping to do one at Stanley too. Once the big place opens up, we're gonna do like 18 holes inside of there.
Ooh, so,
lots of fun things in the works.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that opening, that event, all of that, man. That's gonna be awesome. So. Sweet, man. Well, we're hour-ish on time now. We're getting kind of close-ish to there. And something on the screen. It's all right. Let's tell the people where they can find you, where people can follow you, where they can check you out, learn more about your company.
Cool. Yeah. So you can find us at parhopper.com. ParHopper.
Yep.
So. Like bar hopper, but again, par and golf. So parhopper.com. We have obviously polos. We've got a lot of new things that we just released. We do custom hats, bucket hats. We have women's polos. We have women's crop tops. We have tank tops, hoodies, you name it. So we do a lot of different things. Those are all available on the site. If you want to follow us on social media, we're official ParHopper on Instagram.
Yep.
We do a ton of stuff on there. We're really known for the amount of giveaways we do, so we love giving stuff away. So we do probably a giveaway like every other week.
Then make sure you follow.
Yeah, make sure you follow us. We give a lot of stuff away. We post some fun content, man. Like we're the guys who like to have fun, and we like to bring comedy into stuff. So we try to be, we think we're funny. We don't know if everyone else thinks we're funny, but you can follow us on there. We're on TikTok, things like that. But I think that's about it.
Awesome, man. Well, and I got to throw out, because I just saw them sitting behind the bar here, you guys have these golf clubs that look awesome. And then you were telling me a little bit about those, a little bit different than kind of your standard golf glove.
Yeah, it's a newer product for us. So they still have like the same leather Cabretta, palm. But we do a spandex top. So it's, especially in the summertime, and it's like 100 degrees outside like today, that spandex top is a lot more breathable, it's stretchy, and I want to say it's more durable, because I know you've all experienced it where you wear a leather glove so much it eventually just gets crusty in your bags. So, the good thing about the spandex is you can wash that glove. It's not going to hurt it. So that's something that we've been doing, and we do full patterns on the gloves as well. So that's another opportunity for us to really showcase the designs we're putting out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm probably going home with the glove today. Like, saw that sitting behind the bar and instantly was like, my gloves are all kind of old, a little worn out. A couple of them are crusty, like you said, sitting in the bag, and that might be something I have to go home with.
Oh yeah, as soon as we log off, we'll clear this stuff out and get you a glove to try out, and we'll play this par 3 course here.
Yeah, that sounds great. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Jay. I'm gonna do a couple of the final stuff I got to talk about. Obviously, thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of a Colorado Craft Podcast. This has been phenomenal. These bays are awesome. Come check out the Local Drive. Check out their new location when it opens. Keep your eyes out for that. And thank you again, like I said, for joining us. If you're enjoying the show, you're watching it on YouTube, subscribe, like, turn on the notifications, do all of that stuff, standard YouTube the standard YouTuber spiel. Do all the things to help spread the word. On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating, leave us a review, give word of mouth, talk to other people. All of that helps us out a ton.
And of course, we'll be featuring the episode through all of our social channels as well. So,
which is awesome. Appreciate it.
We're gonna try to get as many followers over to your side as possible.
Let's do it. Check us out. Yeah, and check out Centennial Cuts. Obviously, again, thank you to them for sponsoring us for every episode, every review, everything that we do right now. Centennial Cuts are the guys that are behind us, and again, thrilled to have them on board. And then shout out to Roma Ransom. I can play you if you haven't heard it yet, but Roma Ransom is a local Colorado band. They show up at a lot of distilleries. They're doing a lot of stuff at locations like that. They recorded the intro and outro music for the podcast here.
Oh, so, super cool.
Yep, keeping it all local.
That's awesome.
Always keep it as local as we can. Huge shout out to them. I'll have a link to their Instagram so you can follow them on social media. See where they're playing next. Go check them out. Give them a couple bucks tip in their, they've got Venmo and stuff like that. And just, keep supporting local, because ParHopper's doing it, I'm doing it, Local Drive's doing it. Best thing you can do is support all of the people here in Colorado, because we're all doing phenomenal. Like, all the distilleries are making great products. The Local Drive has an awesome setup. These bays are absurdly cool. ParHopper's got Polos that are absolutely, well, like you said, they turn heads at the tee box. They are.
Yeah, man, and we're building a network. Like, we're just building, a very strong network that's just keeping all of us growing at the same time.
Yep. No, it's fantastic. So love all of that. Thank you again to everybody who joined us. If you want to follow online, at Mile High Bourbon on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, all the social media pieces, except TikTok. I can't figure that one out. But
I will say I felt super goofy when I first started our TikTok. But surprisingly, we get a ton of people, like a lot of whiskey guys find us on TikTok and start buying our Polos. Like, there's just one guy who does like Friday night chugs, or just every Friday night he opens a brand new bottle of whiskey and he just does a bottle chug out of it. And so he actually he got one of our single barrels and did it on his channel. So,
sweet.
Yeah, you have to check him out.
Oh, that's awesome. I might have to just kick off a TikTok for that then.
Yeah,
check him out.
You'd be surprised, man. You actually can cover a lot of ground on TikTok.
I might have to check it out. Just got to wrap my head around how that.
You don't have to do
works.
the silly dances, You can just talk about whiskey.
Oh, I'm not a dancer at all. But so check us out at Mile High Bourbon. Check out official ParHopper, and come check out the Local Drive. Have yourself some of this phenomenal Old Elk single barrel 9-year,
and get a bottle to take home.
Yeah, definitely do that, and I will do that as well. But again, thank you all for joining me, and Jay, thank you so much.
Cheers, man. Thanks so much for having me on here.
Yeah, been a great episode, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
See you, Richie.